I used to think solitude was a skill, something you trained like a muscle. You wake up early, you work until your thoughts blur at the edges. You solve one impossible problem, then another. You build systems, you build teams, you build things that didn't exist before you decided they should. And at the end of the day, when the room is finally quiet, you tell yourself that the silence is earned. For a long time, that was enough. Tonight, the house is still. There's a low hum from the refrigerator down the hall. A lamp is on beside me, the light warm but dim, like it's careful not to intrude. My phone is face down on the table. No notifications, no demands. Just this room. After meetings, after flights, after conversations that felt more like negotiations than human exchange, I would come home and think, this is peace. But peace and absence aren't the same thing. It took me longer than I'd like to admit to understand that. When you were here, the quiet was different. It wasn't emptiness. It had texture. The soft sound of you moving in the kitchen, the way you'd pause before speaking as if testing the weight of your own thoughts. Even your silence had presence. Even your silence had presence. Now, when I walk past the chair where you used to sit, it's just a chair. And that's the difference. I built most of my life from scratch. Not because I wanted to prove something, but because I wanted to prove something, but because I didn't know how to do it any other way. If something didn't exist, I tried to create it. If a system was broken, I tried to redesign it. Independence felt efficient. Feelings, less so. You used to watch me when I disappear into my head. I thought you were studying me, trying to decode the calculations behind my eyes. Later, I realized you were waiting. Not for answers. For me. I don't think I understood that then. I thought being strong meant carrying everything alone. Responsibility. Pressure. Decisions that ripple outward in ways you can't always predict. I wore that like armor. You never tried to take it off me. You just sat beside me in it. There's a memory that keeps returning lately. There's a memory that keeps returning lately. Nothing dramatic. Just a Tuesday night. We were both tired. You were reading something on your phone, your legs tucked under you. I was half listening to you talk about your day while answering emails. At some point, I stopped typing. You didn't notice immediately. You kept talking, and I just watched you. Not in a romantic way. Not in a cinematic way. Just watching. The way your forehead creased when you were trying to remember a detail. The way your voice softened when you mentioned something that mattered to you. The way you reached for my hand without looking, like it was simply where your hand belonged. I didn't say anything about it. I wish I had. Not because I needed you to know I loved you. I think you knew that in your own way. But because I didn't know how rare it was to feel calm next to someone. I've known intensity. I've known obsession. I've known a kind of focus that blots out everything else. A kind of focus that blots out everything else. Calm was new. After you left, I told myself the same thing I have told myself after every loss. Adjust, analyze, improve. Identify the failure points. Learn, iterate. It's easier to treat heartbreak like a design flaw. Harder to admit that sometimes the flaw isn't in the structure. It's in the way you show up inside it. You once told me, quietly, that you didn't need grand gestures. You needed consistency. Presence, small acknowledgments that you weren't competing with the rest of my life. I heard you. I just didn't fully understand. I thought love meant building something impressive enough that you'd never doubt your place in it. I didn't realize that what you wanted was much simpler. To feel chosen in the ordinary hours. To feel seen when nothing spectacular was happening. I've replayed certain conversations in my head, not to punish myself, just to understand them better. The night you said you felt alone, even when we were in the same room. I remember feeling confused, defensive, maybe. I was physically there. What more could you want? David Nye, I know. You wanted me to be there without half of my mind somewhere else. It's strange. I've solved problems that seemed impossible. I've watched ideas move from fragile sketches to something real and solid. But learning how to sit with someone and give them undivided attention, that took me longer. I'm not saying I've mastered it now. Just that I see it. There's a photo of us still on a shelf in the hallway. I haven't moved it, not out of longing, more out of respect. That version of us existed. It mattered. In the photo, we're not dressed up. No event. No backdrop. Just standing outside in late afternoon light. You're squinting slightly, the sun catching your hair. I look relaxed in a way I don't often recognize in myself. I used to think that expression came from accomplishment. Now I think it came from belonging. I don't regret loving you. I don't regret loving you. I regret the moments I let pass without stepping fully into them. The nights you wanted to talk and I said, tomorrow. The mornings you lingered and I checked the time. Not because I didn't care, but because I believed there would always be more time. There's a particular kind of humility that comes after something ends. It's not dramatic, it's quiet. You start noticing patterns in yourself that were invisible before. The way you retreat when things feel emotionally complex. The way you default to logic when someone needs warmth. I used to see those traits as strengths. They are, in certain contexts. But in a relationship, they can feel like distance. You never asked me to be someone else. You asked me to be more here. That distinction matters. Lately, I've been trying something new. When I'm in conversation with someone, a colleague, a friend, I put my phone away. Completely. I listen without planning my response. I let silence stretch a little longer before I fill it. It's uncomfortable at first, when it comes first, then it becomes human, not with lectures, just by example. You had a way of noticing small things. The way the air changed before it rained, the way I got quieter when something was bothering me, even if I insisted I was fine. You paid attention. I'm learning to do the same. Not because I expect you to come back, but because loving you expanded something in me, and I don't want that expansion to shrink just because the relationship ended. There's a difference between being alone and living alone. I can handle the first. I've done it most of my life. The second is heavier. It's the realization that success doesn't sit across from you at dinner. It doesn't laugh at your half-formed jokes. It doesn't reach for your hand in the dark. It fills space. It doesn't share it. I don't want to build walls so high that no one can enter. Space. It doesn't share it. I don't want to be admired more than I'm understood. That's a hard thing to admit. Especially. That's a hard thing to admit. Especially when you've structured your life around capability. You softened me. Not in a way that made me weaker, in a way that made me more aware of tone, of timing, of the fragile, invisible threads that connect two people when they're both trying. I used to measure progress in milestones. Now I notice subtler shifts. The way I pause before dismissing a feeling. The way I ask a second question instead of moving on. The way I sit in a quiet room and allow myself to miss you without turning that missing into a problem to solve. There's gratitude in that. What didn't leave me broken? You left me more honest. Tonight, the house is still the same. The lamp, the hum, the soft shadows on the wall. But I'm different in it. I don't see solitude as proof of strength anymore. I see it as a season. Useful. Clarifying, but not the destination. If I ever share space with someone like that again, not someone who dazzles the world, but someone who can sit beside me in the ordinary hours, I'll do it differently. I'll close the laptop sooner. I'll look up when they start speaking. I'll say the small things out loud. Not because I'm afraid of losing them, but because I finally understand that love isn't built in the extraordinary moments. It's built in the quiet ones, the kind that look like nothing from the outside, and mean everything when you're inside them. The room is quieter now. Even the refrigerator has stopped humming. I should probably sleep. Tomorrow will bring its own set of problems to solve. But for now, I'm just sitting here, letting the silence be full instead of empty. And for the first time in a long while, that feels like enough.